Hi, thank you for choosing the Bookkeepers MD for your tutoring needs. This video is called Geometry Basics. In this video, we will cover the basic equations and definitions needed to be successful in your geometry class. For more information, email us at tutoring@thebookkeepersmd.com or visit the Student Center on our website www.thebookkeepersmd.com. Disclaimer to our users. These notes are intended for informational purposes only. Due to the abridged nature of the accounting notes being presented, these notes will not cover topics extensively. Students, please use these notes in conjunction with your textbook and coursework. The Bookkeepers Accounting Services MD, its employees and affiliates are not responsible or liable for any misuse of the information provided in these notes. Let's get started. We're going to start with discussing calculating perimeter. Perimeter can be calculated by using the formula perimeter, which in this case we will use the capital letter P, equals 2L plus 2W. Perimeter equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. Or we can calculate perimeter by adding side plus side plus side, essentially adding up all of the sides of the figure. L means length in this case, and W means width. So if we go back to our equation, we will see that perimeter equals 2 times the length of the shape plus 2 times the width. Let's try an example. As we see, we have this rectangle here where we have 4 meters, 4 meters, 1 meter, and 1 meter, which denotes the length and the width. Now let's solve using our two basic methods that we just discussed. Using method A, as you can see, we will multiply 2 times 1 because 1 is the length of the shape, which in some cases are the height, but I don't want to use the term height because it can get confusing because height is actually used to measure another aspect of the figure. So for now, we're going to say how tall the figure is. The length is how tall, the width is how wide. So 2 times 1 meter, which is our length, plus 2 times 4 meters, which is our width, gives us 2 plus 8, which equals 10 meters. If we were to solve it using the second equation, we will have 1 meter plus 4 meters plus 4 meters plus 1 meter gives us the same 10 meters. That concludes our discussion on calculating perimeter. Next, we're going to calculate circumference. Many of you may have heard the term circumference as it relates to a circle. So let's dive into how we actually solve for circumference. The formula for solving for circumference is C, which is circumference, equals pi times the diameter of the circle. Or it can also be expressed in simpler terms. Circumference, which is C, equals 2 times pi times the radius. By looking at both of these equations, what these tell us is that radius is calculated by dividing the diameter of the circle in half, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And here we have our vocabulary. C is circumference, D is diameter, R is radius, and the pi symbol is pi, which is also 3.14 when used in mathematical calculations. Here's our circle. So here's our radius. Our radius is approximately half of the circle, and our diameter measures the distance from one end of the circle to the next. Now let's try an example problem. What is the circumference of a circle with a radius of 5? So, as we stated before, the radius is the distance between the end of the circle all the way to half of the circle. So, with this being said, we know that 5 is half of the circle. So, if we're solving for circumference, this is what we'll end up with. Now on to our next topic, calculating area. I've included a chart for calculating area because there are a couple of different approaches. As we see for a parallelogram, it's base times height. Rectangles are length times width. Triangles, as you see, interesting enough, is 1/2 of base times height. So here we have a triangle. In this triangle, our base, which is the lower part of the triangle, is 8 feet, and the height of the triangle, which is how tall it is 11 feet. So let's use our formula and calculate the area. So if we go to our chart, we will see that calculating the area for this triangle, we will have to do 1/2 base times height. And here we go. Now on to the next topic. Calculating volume. Here's our handy dandy chart for calculating volume. And remember, volume calculations look at a three-dimensional measure. As we see, for a rectangular solid, volume is calculated base times height or length times width times height. And another common calculation you will have to calculate in relation to volume is a pyramid. You may be asked on your exam or in your class to calculate for a cone, but for the most part, those calculations use the delta symbol, which is somewhat complicated, but we'll go into that on a later video. Here are some common geometry terms and definitions. We included these terms and definitions to help you work through your homework problems, practice problems, and just as general knowledge. Now we're at the end. You made it through our Geometry Basics video. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask your tutor or email us at tutoring@thebookkeepersmd.com. Thank you and good luck in your studies.